just Maynard are. Wow. Tangents. Let's get into this. Emotional burdens are no fun. Hello, my Sagittarius friends. Today I am here with a tarot card reading that is kind of late, admittedly, because we're already into June a little bit, but we still have most of the month left. So I'm trying to get your reading, as well as the water readings next, out today. That would be nice. Okay, so my Sagittarius friends, I have a reading for you today, and this reading is meant to help you navigate the month of June. Mostly it's meant to help you navigate your internal landscape in the month of June. The first part of this reading is going to be getting your overall energy, and then your strengths and weaknesses in the month of June, and how to kind of integrate the parts of yourself that maybe you're not utilizing to the best of your ability, and how to utilize your strengths, right? So there's that. And then we're going to move into a relationship reading, which is just going to be meant to help you navigate a relationship and understand kind of the inner workings of that relationship, like what's beneath the surface. And then at the end, I will try to send you off with a positive oracle card reading. And so that is going to be what we are doing today. Disclaimer, real quick, I am just an interpreter of symbolism. I am not all-knowing. I am just a human being. And so just take everything I say with a grain of salt. If it vibes, it vibes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Don't try to make things fit where they don't. Don't come at me if I say something you don't like. Like, you have permission to just put something down if it doesn't fit, or to just take this as entertainment and walk away, okay? It's up to you how you want to take the messages you hear in this reading. If this reading does vibe for you, and you like my vibe, and you would like to come vibe with me, I would love it if you would subscribe. I would love it if you would drop a like or a comment down below. I do love hearing from people. I also give personal readings. If you are interested in getting an individual reading, you may contact me. I will put my email and my Instagram down below so that you may contact me for personal readings. If you would like that, my pricing will also be down below. Okay, now that I'm done with the spiel, we can get on with the show. The first thing that I got for you, my Sagittarius friend, is your overall energy, right? And for this part, I'm using a deck that is just Maynard. Wow. Just Major Arcana Maynard. Wow. Words today. Okay. So I'm using my Cryptids Tarot, which is just Major Arcana, and that deck gave to us the cards Death. Is that anything like death? Yes. Okay, so Death and the Magician. Okay, you have the Magician there. All right, so with Death, obviously, there's change, you know. Death is the ending of something. It's not always pleasant. A lot of the time we can see it coming, though, so we can prep ourselves. So there's that. But then after that, there's space left over for something new to come in. So the positive thing with Death is that, yes, something may be ending. Yes, there's change happening, but it's so that there's room made for something to come in and be a new part of yourself, right? So in June, do expect some change. It may be subtle, it may be slow, but it'll be change. And then with the Magician, you have this this power, this like inner power in June. The analytical sense is going to be necessary in the month of June with the Magician, because he's the alchemist, right? The Magician is meant to be this alchemical, scientific thinking kind of character. So, my friend, I think that in June, overall, you're going to be experiencing some change that may bring out this magician energy in you, okay? That may bring out this more intellectual and scientific side in yourself, okay? And actually, on that note, let's get into the other cards I got for you. So I used my Kawaii Tarot deck to pull your cards for your main reading. And for this part, what I do is I look at the ratio of suits, because each suit represents a function. I don't know if you are familiar with Jungian psychology or with functions or anything like that, but maybe one day if people are curious, I'll do a thing. But you can find videos on the YouTube about that. Tangents. Let's get into this. I'm looking at the ratios. Whatever you have the most of is your strength, and whatever is missing or you have the least of is a weakness. So let's get into that. The thing you have the most of in this reading, okay, is Pentacles. You have the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the Queen and King of Pentacles both being present here tells me that you, my friend, my Sagittarius friend, are a very grounded person. You pay a lot of attention to your body, to your physical senses, right? You probably take time to savor things. Like when food tastes really good, you probably take your time to eat that food and you notice all the flavors. You notice how your body is doing and you respond to your body when it tells you it needs something. You probably pay attention to what you're eating and how you're treating your body, That's really, really good. I like this balanced awareness of your body and your senses. Also with the Pentacles, there's this sense of tangible hard work. So with that Eight of Pentacles energy, obviously you can't see that. There we go. So with the Eight of Pentacles energy, there's this building up. There's with the Eight, it's these repetitive tasks, those mundane repetitive tasks that you have to do every day. It's also these chores that you have to do every day is Pentacles, right? So simple things like making your bed and doing the dishes. People who have strong pentacles are really good at those basic practical tasks, but they're also really good at doing tangible things with their hands in order to make money from those, right? So you could be a personal trainer or a chef or something else in that area where you're using your senses. I also think of construction workers, plumbers, people who work with their hands. Usually most often fall into this strong pentacles category. So if that's you, cool, that's awesome. But it doesn't necessarily need to be that. It's just it indicates to me that you're really good at those day-to-day basic, everyday repetitive tasks. You're really good at taking care of your family, taking care of your home and your physical environment and your physical body. That's good. I love that. Let's get into the next ones, right? You have wands here and cups. So you have 2 cups, the 8 of cups, and the 10 of cups, okay? So cups are the intuition, right? Pentacles are the senses, cups are the intuition. The 8 of cups indicates that your intuition is really good at letting you know when you need to walk away from a situation. It's good at letting you know when a situation isn't serving you and when you need to let something go. So that's good. I'm glad that you're in tune with your intuition in that way. With the 10 of cups, it means that you are feeling fulfilled emotionally, feeling fulfilled in that intuitive sense, okay? It's very balanced. It's a strong intuitive sense. So yay. Things are looking good for you already, Sagittarius. I like this reading. You are grounded and balanced in your Pentacles energy, which is your greatest strength. You are using your intuition in a balanced way to tell you when it is time to leave a situation and when something is benefiting you. And then let's move into the wands. Okay, so you have the 3 of wands, which is expression or expansion of feelings. It's a creative venture sometimes. It can include partnership and collaboration with others. So the wands also are your emotions. So with that 3 of wands, there's an expansion of your emotional energy, right? You're going to be, it's you're going to be expanding and going on like an emotional adventure in June. Because in the traditional tarot, the Three of Wands is this person standing on the edge of a cliff, looking out at the sea and watching some ships, right? So there's this implication that this person is prepping to go on some sort of adventure, right? So this Three of Wands for you, I think would be like you being in a place where you're emotionally preparing yourself, or like you're or like you are emotionally prepared to go on an adventure, or emotionally prepared for new things, right? And then this 10 of Wands is like burdens, right? It's these emotional burdens that you're carrying on your back, which uh, mm, mm, emotional burdens are no fun. So with this 3 of Wands, 10 of Wands energy, I'm thinking, my friend, my Sagittarius friend, that emotionally you might take on more burdens than you need to. You know, yeah, with that 10 of Wands energy, you really do, there's that tendency to take on more than you need to. So you may take on other people's emotional burdens. Being in tune with your environment means that you are aware of other people. Being in tune with your emotions means you understand how they're feeling. And being intuitive means that you have this desire, this like intrinsic need to change things and make things correct, right? The problem is that we are lacking swords in your spread. And that means that though you have these ideas of expansion, these ideas of taking on people's burdens and wanting to make things better, all you're doing is putting emotional burdens on yourself rather than learning the information that can help you actually expand and focus your goals and truly enact change. It's like you're seeing the things that are wrong in the world, or seeing things that are wrong in your environment, and rather than learning the knowledge you need to actually enact the change that needs to happen, you're just feeling it in your emotions and holding it there, right? So that's that 10 of Wands energy. So in June, watch that. You may be taking on too much emotionally in June, okay? So be aware of that. And then with that 3 of Wands, back to that, of your transformation is going to be this like emotional change in you. Because the 3 of Wands is that expansion and that readiness to go on an adventure, it's like you're developing emotionally. It's like you're growing into someone who can draw those emotional boundaries. You might need to work on them. I think that there's definitely a need to work on the emotional boundaries, but I think that there's a need definitely to like focus yourself, because when your emotions are, burned, when you're burdening yourself with your emotions like this, when you're taking on other people's feelings and thoughts and emotions and making it your own burden and feeling sad because of other people's problems, right? That can get toxic. So check that. But it does appear that you are ready to like expand and grow. So yeah, again, I can't say it enough. Gain swords energy. Go out and learn something. If there's something that bothers you about the world, learn more about it so that you can learn more about changing it. If there's something that bothers you about yourself, learn more about it so that you can then go out and change it, right? All it takes is learning more information so that you can actually do the changing. Okay. So that's the missing swords energy here. That's why your swords are completely gone, and the swords are the thinking function, right? It's just data, rules, laws, facts and figures, right? The truth and justice. Those are all associated with the swords. So that is the only thing that's missing for you. So what I would say, again, I'm going to say it like a million times now, is just learn new things, learn information, expand your brains, and it will help you develop this emotional control and not take on these emotional burdens. Okay. I do think that one step, going out to learn things, is going to help you a lot. So actually, because of that, I am going to actually link some stuff down below for you, so that you can go and learn stuff on the internet, because there's lots of ways to learn stuff on the internet. So I'll link a few places where you can go and maybe learn a few things by watching videos, and maybe you'll try it, maybe you won't, but I think that's something that you should try. Okay, so now we're going to move into your major arcana cards. So your major arcana cards are Judgment, which is that transformation. It's the relocation of the personality, right? It's moving from being like ego-centered to being self-centered, which English language. With Judgment, you are transforming. You are changing into a person who is more focused on their divine self and operates more from their divine self. And that's more just, you're more in tune with who you really are and not relying on fear to drive you. You're not just operating from instinct. You're using everything, your thoughts, your senses, your emotions, your intuition, all of them coming together so that you can operate as a whole and balanced human being, right? So this is like you're going through the process to start integrating that last function here in June, okay? It's hugely apparent. Okay, you've got the moon here, which is subconscious energies, right? Things beneath the surface, and temperance, right? So with temperance and the moon together here, there's a process. So temperance can be feeling like you aren't making any progress, right? When the temperance card comes up with the moon, it makes me think that there's something beneath the surface that is making you feel like you're not making any progress in something that you've been like trying to get nailed down for a very long time. Especially with this Eight of Pentacles energy, it's like you've been working at this one thing for so long and you feel like you haven't been making any headway. And it's like in June, finally you start moving, right? You've been this, I'm thinking of the little train that could, like, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. That's the energy I'm getting from this spread right now, right? You're in this space in June of like, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And it's helping you transform into this person who starts using their intellect, into this person who starts using their thoughts. So what you want to do is start moving away from these strengths and start moving into this space where you're using your mind and seeking out knowledge and using that knowledge to guide your actions, right? Everything else is very balanced here. At this point, when you're trying to integrate the sword's function and everything else is balanced and powerful, I want you to just go seek out information, okay? That's all the swords are. It's like data, numbers, information. Truth and justice are also closely related with the swords. So if you're interested in law, that would be something to get into. If you're interested in activism with the swords being missing here, that would be something to get into. Learn about ways you can be an activist. Learn about the history of activism. If you're interested, I mean, honestly, it's anything you're interested in, get more information about it. That's what it is. There's something that you're interested in that you've been trying to make headway in for a very long time. You've been like just beating it over the head. It won't budge. The thing that will make it budge is by going out and learning information, because that's the one thing that's missing here. Okay, you've done all the other work. Just go out and learn something. Pick the subject that will help you move in the direction that you're trying to move in. It looks like you're very good at setting your goals, right? So get your goals in order and then learn the information that will help you to get to those goals. Don't be afraid of using YouTube as a resource. Don't be afraid of Wikipedia. But that's like my main message for you in June. You are very, very powerful. You have a lot of good things going for you. You're very balanced. You just gotta focus on feeding your mind a little bit more in the month of June so that you can build up that swords function. All right. Now let's get into your relationship reading. All right, my Sagittarius friends, this is going to be your relationship reading, and let's just get into this. So, what I've done is I pulled some cards to figure out what is going on the surface in your relationship, and then to figure out what's going on beneath the surface in your relationship. And then I have one extra little thing is your projections on each other in this relationship, right? So, again, take this as it resonates. This is general, so it's not going to apply to everybody who watches this, but you know, what can you do? Take it as it resonates. If it vibes, it vibes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, so first of all, you on the surface are showing up in this relationship as the Queen of Swords, right? Now, in your main reading, there were no swords present, okay? But that does not mean that in this relationship, you can't show up as the Queen of Swords, okay? And the Queen of Swords is someone who has a very strong character, someone who's very idealistic, someone who fights for justice. The Queen of Swords, unlike the King of Swords, is not going to hold herself back when it comes to speech, right? The Queen of Swords will always speak her mind and fight for what is right. The King of Swords is the kind who's going to like hang back a little bit longer and be more aloof. When I see the Queen of Swords, as a person, it makes me think of someone who, even in positive ways, can be a little bit too assertive at times, and it can make people uncomfortable, right? This other person is the King of Cups, right? On the surface, right? This is how they're showing up in the relationship, not necessarily what's going on beneath the surface, but we'll get into that. But on the surface, they're showing up in this relationship as the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is also someone who is very idealistic. But the difference between the King of Cups and the Queen of Swords is that with the Cups, they're more stuck in their head and they're more stuck in their fantasies. They're like, so with this King of Cups, so he does have his feet planted on the ground, right? And with his eyes on the cards, he's aware of the rules, right? He's aware of like the way the world works, right? He's aware of the rules of the game. He knows how to stay stable. The thing about this King of Cups is that he is surrounded by chaos, and because of that, he kind of stays in this little isolated space, right? Okay. See how he's like on this island by himself, okay? So I'm seeing this other person as someone who, yes, is idealistic like you, but who maybe doesn't take as much action and who definitely wouldn't be nearly as aggressive as you would be with this Queen of Swords energy, okay? So Queen of Swords, you're fighting for what you believe is right. You're doing what you think is correct. You're not really necessarily thinking about people's feelings in the process. And you just let your words out and your thoughts out whenever you think it is necessary, right? Which, you know, I'm fine with like fighting for what you believe in, obviously. Like I'm down for that. I'm down for fighting for what you believe in, fighting for what you think is right. On the surface, this relationship, though, does seem to be suffering because of that. So on the surface, we have this. Well, I don't know if the relationship would necessarily be suffering. What we have is the Eight of Wands and the Emperor, right? So the Emperor is this authority, right? It represents like authority figures. It represents power, masculine power. It represents someone who takes care of those in their charge, you know? So this would be like a politician would be the Emperor, or a CEO would be the Emperor, okay? So it's just someone who's like really powerful. And then the Eight of Wands is like this fast-paced transforming energy that moves in the form of words and writing. So, and of course the wands are emotions. So it's also strong emotional energy. So what I'm seeing on the surface here is there's like this strong emotional transformative energy centered around authority figures or an authority figure of some kind, right? That is affecting this relationship, okay? I don't know if you guys are fighting for power in the relationship or if you guys are arguing over politics right now, which is entirely likely with all the things that are going on in the world. Sorry about the shakes. But yeah, so on the surface, it looks like you guys might be having some differences in ideals, or you might be having some arguments about politics, because you both are very idealistic people, but you approach things differently. Beneath the surface, let's see what's going on. We've got you beneath the surface are the King of Pentacles, and you were very strong in those Pentacles energy, right? We know that the King and Queen of Pentacles were your strongest energies in your main reading. So though you are showing up in the relationship as this more aggressive Queen of Swords energy, your core is this King of Pentacles, right? At your core, you are someone who cares very much about their family, cares very much about their community, who is very generous and willing to share all of the wealth and abundance that they have. The King of Pentacles moves relatively slowly and does plan ahead whenever he wants to get anything done. He's very practical, down to earth, very grounded. So, you seem like you're very idealistic and grounded and, just you're this like natural and slow paced, but also, what your ideas, what your values are, what your morals are, and you're willing to fight for them with your Queen of Swords energy. The other person has the Knight of Cups. And that to me says that they are very much intuitive. They definitely get lost in their daydreams a lot. And they definitely have these ideas and ideals about the world and the way it should be. The problem is that this person doesn't seem to have any momentum, doesn't seem to have any practicality, and doesn't even really seem to have any swords energy to back up, like any knowledge to back up their ideas and ideals. So that's a thing. This person is just like really into their intuitive sense. You may be able to guide them out of that, but that's not necessarily a responsibility. Just be aware that this person, though they may be idealistic and appear very self-assured on the surface, beneath the surface, they may not be as focused. They may not be as confident or well-guided, and they're definitely a little bit more dreamy than they let on. Okay, because this King of Cups appears to be in control, right? Like we said, he's surrounded by chaos, but the Knight of Cups, as we can see, is deep within this forest, right? He's deep within the thick of things. He appears on the surface to be cool and calm and collected and to know what's going on, but beneath the surface, he's deep within the forest. He cannot see the forest for the trees. He is in his daydream, okay? So this person that you are in this relationship with, whether it is a romantic, business, family relationship, friendship, whatever it is, this person is daydreaming a lot. And you are more focused on reality. Now we're going to get into projections here, and that is what you guys are seeing in each other that really is a reflection of yourselves. So let's see what you are projecting onto this other person. You are projecting the King of Swords, okay? The King of Swords is someone who is intellectual. They are aloof because they're always thinking about facts and figures and things like that. The King of Cups and the King of Swords are both very aloof. They are not as warm as the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. They are both relatively cold on the surface, so it's easy to get them mixed up if you don't have insight into their inner workings, right? However, the King of Cups is more intuitive and idealistic and more like thinking about like the utopia that could be if everyone and everything was perfect. And the King of Swords is more like the person who's going to take that practical action to learn about the laws that currently we have and how to change those laws, right? So this is the person that you hope they are. This is the person they actually are. And the reason that you're getting them mixed up is because of that aloof and cold surface energy, when really that sword energy is coming from you. Though it was missing from your main reading, the sword's energy, because it is present here, obviously you have the ability to integrate that function very easily. Because the King of Swords is what you are projecting, that means that you have that King of Swords energy within you, right? So the thing about the King of Swords is that he, like I said before, unlike the Queen of Swords, he does not go out and seek out things. He's not moving forward, right? She is leaning forward in her seat with that sword ready to act. He is leaning back, holding it, holding his book, being aware of the laws and the rules and understanding things before he acts, right? The King of Swords uses the laws to enact things. The Queen of Swords more like fights against the laws that are unjust, if that makes sense. So, what I want you to be aware of with this is that though you see them as someone who is idealistic and is willing to fight for their ideals and has these clear ideas and focused goals, really that person is you. You're the one who has the ideals and the focused goals and the ability to make things into reality and the ability to fight for the things that you believe in, right? This other person, I don't know them personally, but in the relationship, specifically from this reading, it doesn't look too good. They see you as the Queen of Wands, which is really interesting, right? Remember, so I said the King of Swords and the King of Cups can get mixed up because they are, because they're both aloof on the surface, right? So now with the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords, they can get mixed up because they are both forward moving energy, right? I know that a lot of the time people talk about feminine energy as being receptive. These feminine energies are not. These are not receptive feminine energies. These are not like feminine energies that are like Queen of Cups, these like blithe little, oh, look at me, I'm a damsel in distress. That's very much the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands are queens that are aggressive. They are queens that push for change and transformation, right? The Queen of Wands does it through creativity and following her emotional passions, right? And the Queen of Swords does it by using truth and justice and laws and rules, right? So that's how they can get mixed up, is because they're feminine energies that are more projecting, that are more aggressive and what's the right word? Assertive. Yes. Female energies that are more assertive. Thank you. Jeez. My point is that this person, like you both are like getting each other mixed up with a different suit. You're not really seeing each other the way you are beneath the surface. You're just seeing and misinterpreting the surface actions, right? So your passionate willingness to fight for what is right is being seen as this like aggressive passion that is more emotionally based and less factually based. And you, man, and you are seeing them as a person who is fighting for truth and justice and is thinking of the laws and rules, right? Man, you guys have got each other mixed up real bad. This other person, it appears, operates more from an emotional place than you do. So they're projecting their emotional stuff onto you. You operate from a more practical place and from a more balanced place than this person. I think that they have potential for growth if they're willing to try to learn. Yeah, if they're willing to try to learn and integrate functions that they're not currently using or expand their knowledge, then yeah, this person can grow. You both have the ability here to be aware of your projections and change your views. Like you have the ability now to be more aware of this person's tendency to be daydreaming and in their head and kind of use their emotions and intuition to guide them first rather than logic, right? So that allows you to know that this person isn't necessarily always acting from a place of logic and doesn't always think first. Whereas you probably do think through things before you act, and you try to act in a balanced way, right? So I don't want you to see this as like, oh no, it's the end of the relationship. This is more like there are things that can improve, right? It's not bad. It's just that there seems to be disagreements around authority on the surface, disagreements on the surface about like change in power, like that, something like that. There's some sort of like transformative and quick moving energy. I'm really leaning towards arguments over politics, arguments over authority figures, something like that, right? Or arguments over like who's in charge of what, some sort of argument over authority. But I'm just saying, there's work to do. Beneath the surface, you guys, though there is work to do, you guys look really good. Okay. I'm going to give you something good about this relationship. Okay. Beneath the surface, we have the Six of Pentacles. Okay. That is balance. That is giving and receiving in equal measure. There's the Six of Wands, which is also a balanced card because 6 is a very balanced number. And the Six of Wands is teamwork in a battle, teamwork in a fight, having people on your side, right? So there's collaboration. And then there's the Nine of Cups, which is like the Nine of Cups, which is like wish fulfillment and being satisfied. So it looks like though on the surface there may be some turmoil, you may be working together here. Like it could be that this is just a really good relationship, that this person is not seeing any negative aspects of the Queen or the Queen of Swords or the Queen of Wands in you, that they're seeing only positive things. Okay, that's possible. This looks very much like it could be a very good collaborative effort in trying to get like a business venture done, or trying to get some sort of activism done, right? Or in politics, right? This could end up being a really good collaboration if there's a willingness to grow. If this is a romantic relationship, there is a need to understand each other more deeply. There really is. There's a lot of good things beneath the surface here. There's balance, there's give and take, there's teamwork, and there's wish fulfillment. So I see beneath the surface that you guys have the potential to be a very happy, healthy couple. It just looks like there's some misunderstanding happening right now. And it could be because you guys are fighting for dominance. It could be because you guys are disagreeing about politics and your ideals. It could be just that you just aren't meeting in the middle. You aren't seeing each other for who you actually are. So I really do think that good things can come out of this relationship. I think that you guys need to sit down and kind of have a conversation about where, like what you think needs to happen next, right? You guys need to sit down and get to know each other a little bit better, I think. That's a big one. It's like, I think you guys need to sit down and just talk and learn about each other a little bit more, because it looks like you're more projecting yourselves on each other than actually, paying attention to what's beneath the surface. You're just taking each other at like face value rather than trying to dig deeper and learn about each other's inner workings. I think that in doing that, you guys can find a lot of balance in this relationship. And I think that good things can come of that, because beneath the surface, there's a lot of positivity here. Okay. So if you guys are arguing, if there's some turmoil going on, it's just because you guys are going through a shift, and you guys need to learn a little bit more about each other's inner workings. Okay. So that is your relationship reading. I hope that was helpful. I hope I didn't ramble too much. That was a little ridiculous. Now I'm going to get into your oracle card reading, and then we'll be done. The first thing I have used is the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. And I've got 2 cards from that for you. And then I've got 3 cards from my Wild Offering Oracle deck. And hopefully these will give you something positive to focus on in the month of June that will help you in your transformation, my Sagittarius friend. So first, I have for you the Divine Feminine. The frequency of Divine Feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. Try this. Close your eyes and go inside yourself. The feminine nature is to love, nurture, and guide through intuition. Are you allowing this? Are you loving toward others? How about toward yourself? Do you express femininity without holding back? Take some time tonight to do something loving and special for yourself to spark your femininity. All right. Let's get in touch with the feminine side. And then the other one I have for you is soul time. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge, one that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. Close your eyes and contemplate for a moment your infinity as a soul. What is your soul's curriculum? What circumstances and experiences have you created for yourself so you can evolve toward your highest expression? Are you including the messages that come to you through your dreams and your intuition? Keep a dream journal so you don't miss a thing. Okay, this is making me think of that 8 of Cups. This is making me think of the 8 of Cups that we got in your main reading. Cups was one of your weaker functions. And yes, while your intuition probably does tell you when things are negative, I think that maybe there needs to be some work done on your intuition helping you perceive the positive. Now, it does seem that your intuition is very strong. Maybe it's that we need to strengthen it more. Maybe it's that we need to become more receptive. There we go. We need to become more receptive to other people's ideas. That's what this is. There is a need for you, my Sagittarius friend, to become more receptive to other people's ideas and opinions, and to become more receptive to information that you may not be comfortable with, information that you may not have had before. Yeah, the divine feminine and the soul time. Like I said before, earlier in the reading, feminine energy is usually interpreted as being receptive, as being more inward, right? So by getting in touch with that feminine energy, you'll be able to combat that surface Queen of Swords that you got, that like tendency to be more aggressive and to push forward with your Wands energy first. And you're like, whoo, man, with that like passion and that power. Like you probably are a very powerful person. Being a Sagittarius, that fire energy in you is going to make you a powerhouse. It's going to move you forward and give you a lot of momentum. So be aware, Sagittarius, that in June, while you need to be open to learning new information, you also need to be open to receiving new opinions and new ways of being, okay? So be open, be receptive in June. Now, for you, oh my goodness, I talk so much. For you, I have 3 cards from the Wild Offering Oracle, and then I will be done. I promise. I won't talk anymore after that. Not very much. Okay, so first one is Despair. I need your divine intercession right now, I need your divine intercession right now, O Great Spirit. Lift this darkness from my soul. Free me from this burden. Open me to your highest plan. May I be a peaceful vessel for your love. Okay, Despair. Next one is Spaciousness. What do I no longer need? Help me, God, to release whatever people, places, or things drain my vital essence. Show me what will fill me with enthusiasm and joy. Okay, so remember that Death card we got at the beginning of the reading? And again, that 8 of Cups. Use your intuition to know when it's time to walk away from something. Allow things to end when it's time for them to end, even if it makes you feel sad. Because, despair, it happens, right? But when we're in that pit of despair, it does tend to make us more open to a higher power to kind of intervene, right? And personally, I think there's value in that, in allowing yourself to be open to things that maybe you don't understand. I think that it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to allow that sadness to make you open to new things. Okay. And the last thing I got for you, which goes right along with this trend, is true offering. May I release the fears, illusions, and addictions that keep me from true offering. May I relax into your plan, trusting that the next steps will always be shown. Use me, love. Use me for the highest. I am yours alone. So these cards tell me, my friend, that you're probably going to be going through a rough time in June. You're not going to be feeling the best. You're probably going to be saying goodbye to some things. Okay? Just remember that in saying goodbye to those things, in going through difficult times, it is meant to open you up and make you more receptive to becoming a vessel for the divine. And I know that sounds very woo-woo and religious, but really what it means is you becoming the best version of yourself that is possible, right? Perfection is not possible because we're human, right? But you can work every day to do your job to the best of your ability, whether you like that job or not. You can work every day to be the best person that you want to be, even if you're not always very good at being that person. You can always try, and you can always be open to new ways of doing things, and you can always be open to dedicating yourself to being the person that you know you can be, right? It does take effort. It takes true offering to become that person, right? You have to be willing to not put your own egotistical desires first and more put what your core self knows is right first, if that makes sense. You use that intuitive sense, try to focus on becoming more receptive and try to gain more knowledge. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's everything. I think I've got the whole message out right now. Okay. So just to recap, my friend, the Sagittarius, in June, you are going to be going through some difficult changes. You're going to be dealing with some transformation within yourself. It's going to be hard. It's going to require you to step back and be receptive and gain knowledge rather than moving forward and pushing. It requires you to sit in yourself and do some meditation, maybe take some classes. And again, it may not be easy for you in June, but at the end, you will find that you are a new person who is more calm and balanced and receptive to other opinions, which makes you a smarter person overall, honestly. So Sagittarius, you got some growth to do in June, but I have confidence in your ability, Sagittarius. I think you're going to come out a much better person at the end of June. I think that you're going to do an amazing job growing in the month of June, and I cannot wait to see you in the month of July to see what we have in store after all this wonderful, amazing growth. Okay, so I will see you next time, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to drop a like and maybe subscribe if you liked this reading, and I will catch you next time. Bye.